this class we are going to study about different types of electric circuit. First of all, we are going to see what is meant by an electric circuit. Now, see electric circuit. Electric circuit is nothing but a closed path created by electric wires through a battery. Through them, there is a flow of electric charges like electrons. Once again, electric circuit is nothing but a closed path created by electric wires through a battery. Within that electric wire, there is a chance of a possibility of flow of electrons. Such kind of closed paths are called electric circuits. Electric circuits may be of two types. That is closed type electric circuit and open type electric circuit. The circuit can be made as a closed or open by using a switch in electric circuit. With the help of that electric circuit, we can make, with the help of that electric switch, we can make that circuit closed or open, or the electric circuit may be switch on or switch off. So, in an electric circuit, a switch can act like a make the circuit to be open or closed. Only with the help of switch only we can make it as closed or open. Now we are going to see the most important types of electric circuits, that is when the resistors are connected in series and when the resistors are connected in parallel. Now we are going to see the different types of circuit. The first one is when the resistors are connected in series and the resistors are connected in parallel. Series combination of resistors. Now we are going to study in detail about the series combination of resistors and what is the resultant resistance when the resistors are connected in series combination. First of all, we are going to see the combination of resistors in series. Let us take three different bulbs, that is bulb 1, bulb 2, bulb 3. And by using multimeter, measure the resistance offered by each bulb, that is bulb 1 offering a resistance of R1, bulb 2 offer a resistance of R2, bulb 3 offer a resistance of R3. Let them be note in your notebook. Now what we have to do is we are arranging all the bulbs in a systematic manner like that they are shown in this given circuit. What they are, what type of manner they are arranged here is every bulb has two terminals, that is terminal 1 and terminal 2. Here this is said to be terminal 1 and this is terminal 2. Terminal 1, terminal 2, terminal 1 and terminal 2. Here we arranged the bulbs in a particular manner, that is the second terminal of the first bulb is connected to the first terminal of the next bulb. Like that, second terminal of the second bulb is connected to the first terminal of the third bulb, and the second terminal of the third bulb is again connected to the first terminal of the first bulb. This type of arrangement of bulbs is said to be series combination of bulbs. And also each bulb, that is a filament of bulb offering certain amount of resistance. Here we are connecting the resistors in a series. Why? Because here we are going to calculate the resultant resistance offered by all the three bulbs as a whole. Now we are going to find the potential difference across the first bulb, that is two terminals of the first bulb, that will be noted as V1. Now the potential difference across the two ends of the second bulb is V2. The potential difference across the two ends of the bulb is V3. Now we are also finding the potential difference at the two terminals of the battery, that is the two terminals of the battery. It gives the potential difference V. Now we clearly have a look or observe all the potential difference, and we can come to a conclusion that the sum of the potential differences of the individual potentials is equal to the potential difference of the cell, that is V equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Here we can clearly come to the conclusion by observing only, that is the individual potentials and the resultant potential, that is the potential difference at the two terminals of the battery. Now we come to the conclusion that potential difference, that is at the terminals of the battery, is equal to sum of the potential differences at the each individual bulb. Let it be taken as equation 1. Now we are going to find the resultant resistance offered by the three bulbs, that is bulb 1 having certain amount of resistance, bulb 2 is also offering certain amount of resistance, that is R2, bulb 3 is also offering the amount of resistance is R3. Now what we have to going to find is the resultant resistance, that is nothing but the combined effect offered by all the three resistors. That means if we replace all the three resistors with the help of a single resistor, that is the resistance offered by all the three resistors can be replaced by one single resistor, that is called equivalent or resultant resistance offered by the individual resistors. Now here clearly we can observe that the total current is flowing through only one path, that is same amount of current is flowing throughout the circuit. Now we can find the amount of current flowing through the circuit by using ammeter, which is connected in series combination of this circuit. So I find that the total amount of current flowing through the conductor, let it be capital I. According to Ohm's law, now we are going to find the potential difference across the each resistor, that is V1 is equal to I into R1, and that is the potential difference at the two terminals of the first resistor. Like that, the potential difference at the second bulb is IR2. The potential difference at the third bulb, that is V3 equal to IR3. Let us have a look at all the three equations. In first equation, V1 and R1 are varying, V2 and R2 are varying, V3 and R3 is also varying, but what is the common factor in all these three equations is the current. Why? Because in series combination only one type of, that is a constant current is flowing throughout the circuit. Why? Because there is no other path for the flowing of electric current, only one path is there. That is why the current is constant in series combination. Now we are going to show the resistors in a systematic manner like this. This is the resistance of first bulb R1, and the potential difference offered by the two ends of the filament of the bulb is V1. Now the second one, that is V2, and the third one, that is V3. Potential difference at the two ends is, and the resistance at this point is R2, resistance offered by the third bulb is R3. Now we find the total potential difference across the two ends of that battery is V. And also now we are going to find the equivalent resistance offered by all the three resistors. That means if you replace all three resistors with the help of a single resistors, now we are going to find the magnitude of that single resistance. That replaceable resistance value we are going to find. Now we are going to find the resultant resistance or resultant or equivalent. Okay. Now let us come to the again to the individual potential differences, that is V1 equal to IR1, V2 equal to IR2, V3 equal to IR3. Now replace all these in equation 1. Now V equal to IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3. We also know that the resultant potential V is equal to I into R equivalent, that is I into R equivalent, that equal to IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3. Now if you take I as common in this equation, I into R1 plus R2 plus R3, here in IR equivalent, I gets cancelled, the resultant or equivalent resistance R equal to sum of the individual resistors. The resultant resistance R equivalent is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. That is the resultant resistance is equal to sum of the individual resistors. Well, here we can also observe that the resultant resistance is more than that of any individual resistors. Why? Because whenever we arrange the resistors in series combination like a thread, their length will be increases. As the length of the resistor increases, as the length of the conductors increases, the resistance is also increases. We have learned in the previous classes, R is directly proportional to L. Here we come to the conclusion that 2 points. First one is the resultant resistance is equal to sum of the individual resistances in series combination, and also the resultant resistance is more than that of any individual resistance of the series combination. Now we are going to see the resultant resistance offered by the resistors when they are connected in parallel combination. First of all, we are going to see what is meant by a parallel combination of resistors. Let us have a look at this circuit diagram. In this circuit diagram, each bulb has two terminals, terminal 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All the first terminals are connected to one common point. First terminal, first terminal, first terminal, and also all the second terminals are connected to one more common point. This type of arrangement of resistors or bulbs is said to be parallel combination of resistors. And also we are going to see we are going to measure the current, amount of current flowing through each resistors. Let the amount of current flowing through the bulb 1, let it be I1. The amount of current flowing through the bulb 2 is I2. The amount of current flowing through the bulb 3 is I3. So what, and also we find the total amount of current flowing through the circuit by using another ammeter, that is let it be capital I. Now we find the current flowing through the bulb 1 I1, current flowing through the bulb 2 I2, current flowing through the bulb 3 is I3, and also total amount of current flowing through the circuit is also found, and let it be considered as I. Now we have a clear cut observation. By this observation we conclude that the total current flowing through the circuit is equal to sum of the individual currents that is flowing through the of individual bulbs, that is I1, I2 and I3. So we can conclude that I equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. Now we are finding the potential difference across the each end of the, that is the two terminals of the bulb or resistor. Now we find the potential difference across the two terminals of the bulb, let it be V, and also if you calculate all the potential differences at individual bulbs, we can come to a conclusion that the potential difference at the two terminals of the battery is equal to that of potential difference across the two terminals of the resistors of the each individual bulb. So potential difference across the three bulbs and at the terminals of the battery is same. So here we concluded that in case of parallel combination, potential difference is same. Here what is happening is, in case of parallel combination, the total current is divided at different paths, that is at this junction point. Okay, that is converted into I1, I2 and I3. Now we are going to calculate the total or resultant resistance offered by all the three bulbs in case of a parallel combination. By using Ohm's law, we can say that the potential at the first bulb can be calculated V equal to I1 into R1. From this we can calculate I1 equal to V by R1. And also the potential difference at the second bulb, that is V equal to I2 R2. This implies I1 equal to V by R2. Like that, the potential difference at the third bulb, that equal to I3 R3. That implies I3 equal to V by R3. Here one is a common factor, that is V. Why? Because in parallel combination potential difference is constant, but the varying factor is current, that is I1, I2 and I3. Now we are substituting these I1, I2 and I3 values in the given equation, that is I equal to I1 means V by R1 plus I2 equal to V by R2 plus I3 equal to V by R3. And also the total amount of current that is flowing through the circuit I equal to V by R equivalent, that is equivalent resistance means total amount of resistance flowing through the circuit, that equal to V by R1 plus V by R2 plus V by R3. That implies V by R equivalent is equal to V of 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Now we can cancel V and V. That implies 1 by R equivalent is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Now we can conclude that reciprocal of the resultant resistance, not the resultant resistance. The reciprocal of the resultant resistance is equal to sum of the reciprocals of individual resistances. Once again, in case of a parallel combination, the reciprocal of resultant resistance is equal to sum of the reciprocals of individual resistance. And also we can clearly say that the resultant resistance in case of parallel combination of resistors is less than that of resistance of any individual resistors. This is most important. In case of parallel combination, the resultant resistance is less than that of any individual resistors. Now we are going to see how the resultant resistance is less than that of any individual resistors. In case of parallel combination, what we are doing is we are pile up each resistors one by one, not they are tie up like a thread. We are piling them one upon another. As a resultant, the area of cross section of the resultant resistor will be increases. As the area of cross section increases, automatically the resistance offered by those resistors is decreases. That is why in case of parallel combination of resistors, the resultant resistance is less than that of any individual resistors. Now we find that resultant resistance in series combination and also parallel combinations. If more amount of cells or batteries present in a circuit, to find the resultant resistance is a complicated process, or to find the equivalent potential is a complicated process. To solve the complication in such kind of circuits, we use Kirchhoff laws. Remember it, to solve very complicated circuits, we should use Kirchhoff laws. Now we are going to discuss about these Kirchhoff or Kirchhoff laws. There are two types of Kirchhoff laws. First one is junction law, another one is loop law. Now we are going to clearly observe about Kirchhoff's junction law. Kirchhoff junction law. Here we can clearly observe a junction. Here the junction means that is a junction point for the currents. At that junction there may be entering of number of currents, maybe the lifting of number of currents. That type of junction point is said to be a junction for the currents. Here we can observe that in case of a parallel combination of resistors, we observe that that is at P there is three types of electric currents are observed, that is I1, I2, I3. The total amount of current is coming is I only, but here the current is divided into three ways. We are just now only we studied that is at P and Q. Here we can clearly observe that the amount of current that is entering into a point P, that is here this point P is said to be junction point. At this junction point, the total current, that is I, is divided into three ways, that is I1, I2 and I3. So the sum of all the currents at a junction point is equal to 0, or simply called the algebraic sum of the currents at a junction point is equal to 0. Kirchhoff's junction law can also be defined as the sum of all the currents which are entering into a junction point is equal to sum of all the current which are leaving that junction point. This can be explained by using a simple diagram. Okay, have a look at this one. Let this point be a junction point for the current. The currents which are entering into the junction point are I1, I2, I3. The currents which are leaving that junction point is I4, I5, I6. According to Kirchhoff's junction law, the total currents which are entering into the junction point, that is I1, I2 and I3, sum of the currents which are entering into the junction point, that is I1 plus I2 plus I3, is equal to sum of the currents which are leaving that junction point, that is I4 plus I5 plus I6. The sum of the currents which are entering into a junction is equal to sum of the currents which are leaving that junction point. This is simply called Kirchhoff's junction law. And also this law is based on law of conservation of charges. Most important point is law of conservation of charges. Why? Because the amount of charges that is entering into the junction point is equal to the amount of current that is leaving that junction point. That is, here the charge is conserving. There is no loss of charge. Now we are going to see Kirchhoff loop law. Most important one is Kirchhoff loop law. What is meant by a loop? That is a closed path. From starting point, ending point, both are tie-up. The type of arrangement is said to be a loop. Okay, this loop law is defined like this. The algebraic sum of increase and decrease in potential differences across different components of a closed loop circuit is equal to 0. This is the statement of Kirchhoff's loop law. This law is based on law of conservation of energy. Now let us have a look at the clear-cut explanation of Kirchhoff's loop law. Let us observe a loop, that is, let us have a clear-cut explanation about this loop. Here we can clearly explain, or we can clearly say that three different loops are present, that is A, B, C, D and A. A, B, C, D, A. This is one loop. A, B, E, F, C, D, A. This is another loop. B, C, F, E. This is another loop. Now we are going to see how the potential difference is varying across the different components of this circuit. Now let us consider one closed loop, that is A, B, C, D, A. Now we are considered one closed loop, that is A, B, C, D, A. Now as we are moving through this circuit or this loop, we are going to observe at some components there is increase in potential and at some components there is a decrease in potential. On an average or on a total, the algebraic sum of all these increase decrease in potential is equal to 0. Now we are going to have a look at this. As we are moving from A to B, there is no component. But as we are moving from B to C, here we can observe two different components. Here, as we are moving from B to C, first of all we are crossing that potential or the cell V2 whose potential difference is V2. Now we have to move from this end to this end. That means positive terminal of the cell to the top, negative terminal of the cell. that means we are traveling from high potential region to low potential region. As we are traveling from high potential region to low potential region, there is a drop in potential. That drop in potential is taken as that is a negative sign we can take is. Drop means we lose certain amount of potential, that is why in front of that potential we put a negative sign. So whenever we move from positive terminal to negative terminal, positive terminal to negative terminal, we can take it as negative, that is from positive to negative we can take it as negative. Why? Because we are traveling from high potential region to low potential region, that is why there is a drop in potential, that is why we taken it as negative, and here the potential is negative. And as we move in the same way, we have to come across this R2, that is component R2 is here, that is we are traveling from opposite to the direction of current. Here current is traveling from C to B, that means the current is traveling from C to B means in this side it has high potential, at this end it has low potential. Clearly have a look at it. We are traveling opposite to the direction of current. As we are traveling opposite to the direction of current means we are traveling from low potential region to high potential region. So we can gain certain amount of potential. So for that potential we should put a positive sign in front of it. By using Ohm's law, we can calculate its potential, that is let its potential be V, that is the current flowing through that is I2, the resistance at this the resistance offered by this resistor or component is R2, that is I2 R2. Clearly, as we are moving opposite to the direction of current, opposite to direction of current, we take it as positive, that potential is taken as positive. Now let us come to this point. From C to D there is no component, but as we are moving from D to A we have to come across two components, that is a component whose resistance is R1, another component is electric cell. So let us have a look at it. As we are moving from D to A, let us have a look at the resistance R1. We are moving in the direction of current. So we are moving in the direction of current means at this end there is a high potential region and other side of this resistor is low potential region. That means we are traveling from high potential region to low potential region. That means we are losing certain amount of that potential. That is why we taken it as negative. That is why there is a drop in potential. Because of that reason only we are taking it as negative sign. I will look at it. In the direction of current, that potential is taken as positive. Once again have a look at it. Now we have to come across this cell, that is from negative terminal of the cell to positive terminal of the cell. Negative terminal of the cell to positive terminal of the cell. That means we are traveling from low potential region to high potential region. We are traveling from low potential region to high potential region means we are gaining certain amount of potential. That is why we can take it as positive. Okay, clearly we are traveling from low potential region to high potential region. That can be taken as positive. Now we can clearly represent by using a box type. If we are traveling from positive terminal of the negative terminal, then we can take it as negative. If we are traveling from negative potential, so that is negative terminal of the cell to positive terminal of the cell, we can take it as positive. In case of resistors, if we are traveling in the direction of current, that potential is taken as negative. If you are traveling opposite to the direction of current, that potential is taken as positive. Now we have clearly 4 points, that is at cells and at that is different types of resistors. Clear cut. At cells we are traveling from positive terminal to negative terminal, that sign is negative, negative terminal to positive terminal, that sign is positive. If you are traveling in the direction of current, that is taken as negative. If you are traveling opposite to the direction of current, that can be taken as positive. Clearly remember it. Now we are going to see the rise or decrease in potentials at different components in this loop. Now if we are traveling from A to B, there is no component. If you are traveling from B to C, we have to come across two components. At this electric cell, the potential is minus V2. Why? Because there is a drop in potential from positive terminal to negative terminal. And again, if you come across this resistor, we are traveling opposite to the direction of current. The direction of current is from C to B. We are traveling from B to C. That is, we are traveling opposite to the direction of current. That means that potential is taken as positive. That is I2 R2. And again, between C and D, there is no component is present. Now we are traveling from D to A. In between D and D, there is two different components. Now we are traveling from D to A. In between D and A, there are two components, that is, one is cell, another one is a resistor. Now we are traveling from the one end of the resistor to another end of the resistor. That means we are traveling in the direction of current. As we are traveling in the direction of current, that current can be taken as negative sign, that is minus I1 R1. If you come to the electric cell, we are traveling from low potential region to high potential region. That is the negative terminal of the cell to that of positive terminal of the cell. That is why there is a gain in potential. Then we can write it as plus V1. Here the statement is the algebraic sum of increase, means at one component there is increase in potential, at another component there is a decrease in potential. So on an average, that means the algebraic sum of increase or decrease in potential at different components of a closed loop circuit is equal to 0. Once again, here at V2 there is a decrease in potential. At the resistor R2 there is increase in potential. At the resistor R1 again there is a drop in potential. At the cell V1 there is a gain in potential. At different components it may be increase or decrease. The algebraic sum of increase and decrease in all the potential at different components of a closed loop circuit is equal to 0. Why it is said to be 0? Why? Because we are measuring the potential difference between the same point, that is we are measuring the potential difference VA minus VA. That is, we are come across starting point VA and also ending point also V. Between the potential difference at the same point is always equal to 0.